Hi, she's Trixie, and I'm Sarah, and this is Our Yarn World, a place where we come to share the love of yarn crafts and all that it gives us and what we hope it gives you. We are on episode 137 today, and we have a very fun episode. For those of you who have been paying attention, I particularly have been trying to get what we're about to present into the camera frame, showing you what I got, because over the last couple of months, there's just been some really interesting sales going on in our particular town in very different ways, obviously through yard sales or some sort of like church sales or like secondhand shop sales. And it's one of those things where if you really pay attention, you might be able to find some good quality stuff, whether it be in bundles or in all enclosed. And you'll see what I'm going to what I'm talking about when
she shares her haul.
Yeah, when we get there. But just be mindful, it's not always going to be the, when you look at a bookstore, you have the new bookstores, but you also have the used bookstores. You have the clothing shops, and then you have the used clothing shops. Mm-hmm. If you really look, yarn and craft supplies do have that used aspect, whether it be looking for that on Facebook Marketplace or, Craigslist or however you. But if you really look at rescue missions.
Yeah, maybe it's not been used at all. Maybe it's still complete.
It just hasn't been. But it can't be sold new.
Right, and you get it at a discount, which is always a good thing.
So just be mindful that a lot of times I feel like as crafters, especially when you're getting into it, you get very used to the aspect of traveling and making your commute to the the craft store, and you're expecting it to always be at those high prices, always having to try to find it at a deal, always trying to find it when everything is on sale or when there's coupons.
Yeah.
But the reality is that you can find people who are cleaning out their supply or trying to get rid of stuff from a loved one who might have passed, or just have moved on to a different craft altogether, and you'll find whole sections in Goodwills, in rescue missions, and in secondhand shops, even antique shops, and yard sales. So just keep your eyes out for that, and you will be surprised what you find.
Yeah.
So
it's all
this project that my mom's doing is literally the fruits of her making sure to have a keen eye towards that specific principle.
I ended up getting 24 skeins of wool yarn called Lassie Manita, and it's 4-ply. It's made in Italy, and I got the whole bundle for $6, and I can't believe it. So I have started in the black. See, that's going to be very hard to see, but there it goes. Okay, I'm doing a double crochet with a 5mm hook, and I'm using my Furls 5mm hook. And I am making a blanket for my husband and my bed. We have a queen size bed, and I wanted a little overhang. So I have 200 stitches. It was 201. 200 stitches to go across every time. So it's going to take a while, but that's okay. It's nice to work with. It's actually lighter than what I usually. I think
it's almost spongy.
Yeah.
It bounces.
And
that's cool.
I have lots of color variations to go through, and you get to watch as this continues to become a blanket.
And this is a bigger blanket on your scale. I mean, you've made some pretty huge blankets, but before we actually started filming, is this one of the bigger blankets that you've made?
It'll fit and overhang a queen size bed.
Yeah.
So usually I just make personalized blankets, something for one person to, lay on the couch or sit in your chair and snuggle up with. But this needs to be made into something, and I just figured maybe I had enough to make one for me and my husband.
Do you have a particular like means as to how you plan to work with it once it starts getting bigger in volume? Because I've seen people that when they're making huge Afghans like this, and it's in one continuous back and forth motion, they roll it like a scroll in and of itself, and as you're adjusting on the roll, they just keep twisting along, and then they go back the other way, and then they go back the other way, and go back the other way.
I don't know. I usually work on these things in the wintertime, and I'm glad to have the warmth. This time we're coming up on summer, and I'll just see. And a lot of times, like the one that we have on our bed right now is two skeins at a time, using 2 yarns at a time of 4-ply yarn. Mm-hmm. And so it's thick and it's nice and it's heavy. And wintertime comes and you want that heaviness on you. This is very, very light for summertime.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. It almost feels like it's airy.
Yeah.
You still know that you're wearing something, but there's still some sense of flow, and it's not containing heat.
Right. Because I need a blanket on whether it's hot or not. So
I've gotten really used to not caring. I don't know what changed, but now it's just like I just either choose to sleep with a blanket or I don't.
Right. So let's see what you got from your haul.
Okay, so first one. Well, first things first. Both of my husbands spotted these things on 2 different occasions. One of them, he ended up picking me up and taking me to it to make sure that was something that we were going to invest in. And then the other one, he called me being like, hey, I found this. Do I just pick it up? And I said yes. And he decided to kind of like make a little bit more of a thing for it. So with that being said, I'm going to show you the first box, and it was a box that at a Goodwill they had kind of just assembled a whole bunch of, I'm not sure, let me rephrase this. This box might have been put together and given over to them all in one go. This might have been how the yarn came to be in their care, but I am not positive if they just assembled this box and made it that one solid price, or if all the materials came as I got it. But originally they kind of used some packing tape to just kind of grid out the top of this box to make sure that nothing was going to fall out. And to be fair, this box is, a decent little sized box, but it's just full of really soft yarns. And I think that my husband picked these up extra. So these were both $2 sets of knitting needles from Goodwill. They marked them as $2 each. It was a size, a US 3 or a 3¼ millimeter. And it was a size 9 US or a 5½ millimeter, sorry. And these were the Quicksilvers, Susan Bates, and they even have these holders for them. And they were $2 each. And he got them at the same time that he got me this box, and this box is full. And the only reason why I'm suspecting that this might have came this way is because of the type of yarns in here. They are very similar, and I cannot imagine that just random people that are just like would give up similar yarns on one, like people everywhere giving the same type of yarn. So there is yarn like this. It's probably like a 5 to 6 weight yarn, and it is kind of like blanket material yarn, but it's, I don't know, maybe it's like that scarf yarn, you make an infinity scarf with, or just a nice scarf, but there's 2 of these in there, and it's just really nice. I really like the pattern of this yarn. Then you have a similar type of a weighted yarn, about a 5 or a 6 weight yarn, and it is in this navy blue, and it's a very nice coiled yarn, very soft. I think this might have been made partially out of polyester. And then you have this yarn. This kind of looks similar in the design, where it's the multicolored twist together, but it's not the same weight. This might be a 4 weight yarn, but there is just this, and it definitely feels much more acrylic, but it is very, it's like a light blue and a magenta twisted together, and it's very pretty. And then there is many, I don't know, this is very soft, silky, so it probably is made out of polyester, and it has a little bit of texture where it's a little bit fuzzy. You can kind of see the texture kind of poking out of it. It is about just heavier than a 4 weight, but it's not yet a 5 weight yarn, but it is super silky, and there's multiple different colors of this. You have this, which is kind of like a forest green / dark sage pine tree green. Then you have like this lavender, and then you have this silver, and they're all in the same like yarn, and they're just really soft. Honestly, I think they might be made out of like a polyester, and again, the silver, lavender, and like mint sage, maybe pine tree.
Almost like a dark teal.
Like a dark forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, dark teal green is just, they're all the same type, which is why I think this box might have been donated all
at the same time.
All at the same time. I'm very excited to figure out what I'm going to use for that. And then I have these, which are all different types of either ombres or color changing yarns that are, I don't know, they're 4 weights, they're acrylic feeling, and they have patterns that remind me of when I first started crochet. So, I don't know, probably like 20 years ago at this point.
Right.
And it is, like this one especially, I remember getting a yarn like this when I was starting to crochet, so it just kind of interesting, and I'm excited for these, and they were in there. One of my favorite yarn in the pile, I don't have a lot of it, but it's this teal with, and it's not showing up, but it's a very dark teal. It's very vibrant, and it has specks of this coral / like clay color coming out of it, and it's so pretty. And yeah, that's like that color right there, and it's just so beautiful, and there's not a lot of it, and again, none of these had tags, so there's no way to know how to kind of like figure out where this came from. Again, another color changing yarn. It kind of looks like it might have been like a red heart, but it is all in the color shades of blue, another 4 weight. And this is a yellow, very much kind of like an Easter yellow, a spring yellow, and it is in like a small 4 weight. I think this might be acrylic as well. And then there is 2 of these reds, acrylics, in the 4 weight, and they look like they're the same brand. And look at how much of this is there.
That's wonderful.
All of this in this box, I do believe, was $5. There's no way any one of these was likely just $5. I mean, maybe one of these color changings or the reds might have been like a $5 yarn, but that's on its own.
Yeah, just
there's no way that you could buy all this yarn from $5 unless you're getting it secondhand. And it is amazing to me, as someone who likes to craft as they go, to get inspired by just, I'm not going to the store and trying to find something for what I have, but a box just comes to me and I'm just like, ooh, what do I have to play with? How can I make this work? It just comes.
She finds yarn and then figures out what she's going to do with it
Afterward.
Yeah.
So this box with these for $2 each, this was probably like a $9 haul.
Yeah.
And it was definitely worth it. My husband definitely.
He did a good job.
Did a good job. Now the second one I'm going to show you I've had for a while. So to say that I haven't touched things in here, or some of the things that used to be in here are obviously gone, would be a lie, because I got this around the same time that we started our giveaway. And so when we were announcing that and doing that during that month, I kept meaning to bring this up and never got to it. But this came to us from it was a church sale, and people were from the church were donating things to be taken in as a big estate / yard sale to be able to sponsor their youth.
Like a rummage sale.
Yeah, and this, it's so cool. It's a weaved basket.
It almost looks Mexican inspired.
Yeah, and it has a name on it. I don't know, maybe the person who made it, but it's so pretty.
Even the lid.
And the lid is attached, so it can't come undone. So you can see there, it has a handle, and when you lift up the lid, it's attached to the handle right here. So you just kind of rotate it, and it will just hang to the side like this, but it never gets lost.
Nice.
It is lined inside with a nice little teal cotton cloth right here, and what's inside of it is what I want to show you. So I'm gonna put this to the side.
Okay, you can.
And I will start pulling things out. So a lot of this is crochet thread, or like a lace, or a kind of like an Aunt Lydia yarn.
Yeah.
I don't think all of these brands are Aunt Lydia, but a lot of these come without the labels, so I am just going off what I know. But this is kind of like a very traditional green, even though you can't fully see the full saturation through the film. I would call this like a Christmas green. Then it was this color changing yarn from browns, yellows, and whites, and there's quite a bit on here.
It
And
looks like a scarecrow.
Yes, perfect. I love that. This whole thing is full of this stuff. Then you have this kind of like blue. It's not coming through full saturation, but it's kind of like a very nice, I would almost, it's not fully teal, but it would be like a traditional water blue to me. There's a lot of red. This is kind of the same kind of like Christmas red. So like these really look Christmassy to me.
Yeah.
There is a lot in here. This is another color changing yarn. This is like blue, pink, a lavender, and like a pale yellow. It kind of reminds me of the old nursery colors of like the 90s.
Pastels.
Yeah, all those pastel colors. It reminds me of like 1920s New England sun hat. So
this is J&P coats.
Yeah.
There is a label in this one.
This one is a cotton. You can tell the difference in how it's like feels. I feel like this is a cotton.
Yeah.
This is a kind of an off-white. I can't tell if this is just because of its age and what it has seen and been exposed to.
Looks like an antique.
But very
antique white.
It's an antique white, and it's kind of like that lace taupey white, and it looks like it was marked at 25 cents whenever this person bought
Wow.
it. And so there's that, and there's quite a bit on this roll. Then you have this one. This is a thinner thread, same kind of color, kind of almost like a golden white, like an off-white, and it's thinner thread. Definitely not cotton, but but it's beautiful. And this one came from the Knitting Crow and Sheen, J&P coats, boil fast.
Yep.
There's so many of these. You got brown too, this really nice dark brown. It looks like it might have gotten chewed up a little bit, maybe by a little mouse. But we'll see what we can save. This is still a huge haul, and we still have so much more to go because it's such a narrow and deep basket. Another nice little green thing full of thread, again from J&P Coats. Here's another. This is a really tiny one. It's starting to run on its end, but yeah, someone was using a thread lace a crochet lace that came on a very small spool.
Looks like they were playing yarn chicken with that one.
Yeah. This red, again, looks like it might have seen better days, but it is a very nice red. Almost has a kind of like it was twisted with a very shimmering thread, but like with a solid matte cotton thread.
See, with all the little things that you make, you can make use of the small, the ones that are cut up a little bit.
Yeah, that's not going to be a problem. This one is a color changing. It is in whites that turn into green. It's very pretty. Yes. Again, from J&P Coats. It is very pretty and soft.
Grandma would have liked that one.
Yeah. Oh. This one is from from Coat and Clark's.
Coats and Clark's.
Again, another off-white antique-y looking color. This one is a red, another one of the reds that kind of reminds me of the Christmas red. And there is this one. It's another one of the white that turns into a full green. It's another one that pairs with this one. Same family. And there is this Karen baby yarn. It's called Cuddle Soft. Doesn't look like it's ever been used, but it looks like it's an old label. An older label. These ones, I don't even know if I plan to actually use the yarn because it just... Here, I'll show you why. This one's called Nun's Boil Proof Crochet Twist. It has the label still on it. It's never been used. It's a very nice kind of off green color, and then you have this Royal Society Crochet Cotton and Knitting that it has its label on it. It's a very nice like rich brown. It still has
like
this
a rust,
and it still has this its dye label on it. And I honestly think I might just kind of have these sitting on like my desk or whatever, because these are just so cool and they kind of look a little off. And I know they might not be that old, but it's just, you don't buy yarn like a thread like this anymore.
You don't. And the labels are still on them, and it's advertising.
This is a brushed acrylic, and it's from a company called Amy, Columbia Minerva, and it doesn't have much, but a brushed acrylic yarn. How cool is that?
So you put it with your the red and green, and you could have some Christmas colors going.
There was someone had made a puff ball. It looks like it's seen better days, but it is a nice little puff ball. There were these kind of like macrame hanging. Oh, what are they called? They're just circles that are used, I think, for like the hanging plants when you make the macrame hanging the lattices or whatever. But like there was one of these whole packets in there. Someone had started on some sort of possibly mini doily or whatever, and this is at the bottom. And honestly, I might make this into like a little ornament, because look at that.
It is so cute. I don't know how people work with this without having it in something bigger. I use it with bigger yarns.
There's this remnant of this little like
rickrack.
Lace like trim, like embellishment. There is this Tunisian hook that is a size 10, which honestly, I definitely need that. in my life. There's this, they had some embroidery thread, this dark green and brown, which seems to be their favorite color. Whoever this was. There was a old pattern in here. For a peekaboo vest, some sort of lacy vest, and it was, no, I don't know if there's going to be I have no idea, but you can definitely see little chew marks of some little friends that used to live in this little basket. It's kind of reminds me, it kind of reminds me of like Cinderella. Let me see. A couple more things at the bottom of this.
An old receipt.
For Alice Brooke Needlecraft from
Palmetto.
Oh, wow.
It's a bank receipt.
Yeah. And definitely been chewed up by little critters too. I know I'm just showing off everything, but I don't know. Sometimes those little things also are just like, probably was in an attic. This Alka-Seltzer's tin that was in here was repurposed for crochet, like a little crochet and sewing kits.
So that's really cool.
I'm not going to pull all those things out of there because there's like a razor and stuff in there and the bottom is broken out of it, so I don't know how I'm going to be able to possibly reuse that. And the last thing is, I do believe this is an old Plums bag that had more of this Amy's brushed acrylic in it. I think all of this is brushed acrylic. And what looks like to be the heads of maybe angel dolls, which is kind of creepy, not gonna lie, but you know, awesome all the same.
Well, maybe they were making the wings out of this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. More baby yarn. It's called from the Karen's Cuddle Soft line, but in blue this time and not the pink. And an unfinished project.
Look at that. Oh,
And look at the color choices.
it's pretty.
And I'm not gonna lie, there is some patchwork that needs to be done, but I plan to finish this up, patch it how I can, wash it, and then let Olivia use it for a baby blanket, or Daniel use it for a stuffy blanket or something.
Yeah.
But there is some work to be done. Some whole stitches have popped loose. We'll see how much I can do. If I can't, I will just throw it away respectfully as I can. But there's just something to the fact that someone took the time, and it always tells a story. Because when it's this little, it's like, who is making a little blanket like this
For their dolls.
when they already had doll heads? Like, I just want to meet this woman. I don't know who gave it up.
You can show them how much you paid for that basket.
This whole entire tin, and there was...
Well, there was a price.
Yes,
for
I know.
that.
And there was more. That I've taken stuff out of here already. I would like to make that very clear because there was a macrame already made.
Yes, there was. Yes.
For a hanging basket that I gave my mom, and I think there was thread I've already taken out of it, and a crochet hook I took out of the Alsace can that's become one of my favorite size 2 hooks. But this whole entire basket with everything in it only cost $15.
Okay, let's see if we can get this. $15 for all of it.
Most of these crochet threads come in bigger sizes, and even if they come like this, they're like $7-8 a piece maybe. It's like all of these. It's so many. It's taking up the whole entire. It's like right underneath your camera view. Like the last one stops right here, and it's just everywhere. And I love this, as you can see, just seeing the story. I don't even care that there's little mouse prints and stuff on here, because it's like there was someone in town possibly who took the time. Favorite colors seem to be green and brown. Loved Christmas.
Yeah.
And obviously had a
and
theme
maybe-
of making baby stuff.
Yep, and maybe she was a grandma and wanted to make
I know.
a doll blanket for her baby.
I think someone said that this basket might have been made in like Florida, and they might have been like holiday birds that went down
Oh
and
yeah,
back
yeah,
up.
yeah. Snowbirds.
Snowbirds. And this might have been like a Florida basket.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It's just an observation, a possibility.
Yeah.
But I want to meet. I aspire to the grandma lifestyle already in my 20s. This is my life. This is what I want to do. I am not ashamed to say that all I want to do with my life is just crocheting.
Exactly.
And make blankets
Yeah.
for the babies.
Yep.
It's fun. So yeah, just find your people, even if it's in navigating and retelling of old things, and seeing how other people crafted.
And see what you can find for treasures and let us know. Today we have a verse that kind of goes along with this. We were laughing so hard at the beginning of this that I just thought this is perfect for today.
Before we turn on the camera.
A cheerful heart has a continual feast.
Yeah, it's so good.
And, you know, a cheerful heart, look at all the feasts that we had today with this haul. That's found in Proverbs 15:15. A cheerful heart has a continual feast.
I think there's just something about most people that have a positive view can make anything something.
Yes.
That they never lack because they always have this sense of a viewpoint. And are there times where people push people to be a little too happy? Yeah. Even a simple reminder of like the movie from Disney's Inside Out, where joy, the embodiment of the emotion joy, is trying to get someone to forget about their sadness, and it took sadness to come up to that character and give them that moment to cry.
Yeah.
Which joy thought would actually delay their journey, instead of recognizing that and just letting that person have that moment to get the emotion out. They were able to make the decision to move on.
Right.
And trying to avoid what they were trying to get past was only going to keep them there.
Yeah.
Because they were never going to be able to look past it, because they were never going to be able to give it up.
Right.
And there's just something about the fact of there's people who have genuine joy that are able to see the good things and be able to enjoy it and are never lacking. And then there's other people that just don't know how to see the happiness, don't know how to see outside the box. And sometimes it just takes opening it.
Exactly.
Because my husband could have just been like, this box looks like a little basket and I don't see the point of it. But when he opened that lid, he instantly called me. He's like, I need to get you over here. This looks promising. And
Yeah.
you gotta see the something in the nothing.
Right.
And I cannot wait to see what happens this year.
I know. I cannot wait to see what you do with all of this.
It just is so exciting.
It really is.
So, as always, thank you for joining us, and we hope that you will next week. We had a pause last week because of some just miscommunication and just general mistakes on our end to be able to actually meet and have all the things we need to do to meet successfully.
Right.
So we hope that you enjoyed our smiling faces today. We always enjoy making these videos for you guys, and we'll continue doing so. And so until next week, we hope that you are happy and that you'll stitch your way
To mental health.